Year 330K. The Internet Mafia had taken over the land of Cryptopur. What once used to be a flourishing land of the web was now a murky, grim town without any internet. Even after secretly bribing the mafia with big bucks, the maximum speed people got was around 10 kbps, which wasn't enough to load even an image. Downloading songs from mp3free.com was a far-fetched idea, next to impossible. Times were tough. It was devastating. The people of Cryptopur had no option but to spend time with their close ones. And there was only one man who was responsible for this situation in Cryptopur. The super boss of the Internet Mafia, Proxy Torrentino. Torrentino was an old fox with humble beginnings. He used to repair routers for a local cable operator at the start of the century, when Cryptopur had just been introduced to the internet. Being the cunning man that he was, he quickly built an empire of his own, and within 2 decades, launched the country's biggest telecom company, J16. J16 promised to give people free internet. And with this scheme, Torrentino destroyed all other players in the internet business. Now, no one reaches the top of the table that fast without soaking their hands in blood. Torrentino, too, was a criminal. But being the smart guy that he was, he never committed any crime by himself. His man Friday, Clear Cash, used to execute all his dirty jobs. Over the last 20 years, Torrentino gained unprecedented power and had an absolute monopoly on Cryptopur's internet supply. Bureaucrats, businessmen, governments, he had an upper hand on all. No one knew how he had reached the top of the power ladder, except for one girl, Codec Encoder. Codec Encoder was a teenager from Cryptopur. Since she was an obsessive online gamer, Torrentino's curtailment of the internet had affected her severely. She had to spend 5 years in rehab to get over her online gaming addiction. During this time, the world outside had changed. Once she was out, she got to know that her parents had been brutally murdered by Clear Cash in her absence, because both of them had organized multiple protests against Torrentino's destruction of internet freedom. Kodak was furious, vengeful. She was determined to settle scores with Torrentino. That man had not only ruined 5 years of her life, but also made her an orphan. She started researching about him, his dirty businesses, his connections, and most importantly, what made him the monster that he was. Torrentino was born to a poor family and never had access to the internet. His family couldn't even afford a smartphone, and he always felt deprived while growing up. Which is why he took up the job of repairing routers, so that he could be in a place with unlimited internet. Back then, everyone used to call him by his first name, Proxy. He was given odd jobs to do. Nobody trusted him with any important work, nor was he treated with any respect. This inferior treatment enraged him, adding fuel to the fire burning within. He wanted to break free from his circumstances and show the world what he was truly capable of. In the midst of his mundane life, young Torrentino fell in love with a beautiful social media influencer. Her name was SnapInsta. Torrentino relentlessly stalked SnapInsta on each of her profiles and thought to himself that maybe her arrival into his life would finally mean the onset of good times. Fed up with Torrentino's desperate behavior, SnapInsta finally decided to meet him. I love you. 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 I love you.
Excuse me. I only decided to come here to put an end to your nonsense. And anyway, who do you think you are? You are a nobody. Whereas I have millions of followers online.
That day onwards, Torrentino became hysterical in his frenzy for internet validation, and the madness began. He swore to be the most powerful man online. This made him selfish and hungry for the attention and love that he was deprived of throughout his life. He was triggered. All he wanted was to match up to SnapInsta's online stature and propose to her. Torrentino started out and was on the rising spree when he got to know that SnapInsta had married another man, Eisden, who was a renowned internet rights activist. Torrentino was shattered. The fact that he had lost his love to someone else drove him crazy. He couldn't focus his energy in the right direction, which led him down the path of negativity. He started blackmailing innocent people to follow him and like his posts, becoming a megalomaniac. he was unable to accept the news of Snapinsta and Eiston's marriage and blamed the internet's existence for this situation. So much so, he decided to get exclusive access to the internet only for himself as revenge. That's the reason he set up J16 as a trap to execute his master plan of monopolizing CryptoPer's internet. The people of CryptoPer had no idea that they would have to pay the price for Torrentino's wrath. Kodak was appalled when she got to know this, because Snapinsta and Eiston were her parents, and she, their only daughter. She found out that it was Torrentino who had ordered ClearCache to murder her parents. Kodak was emotional, but didn't spend time mourning her parents' death. She was extremely determined. Her aim was clear: end Torrentino and get internet freedom back to the land of CryptoPer. Kodak started training herself, preparing to fight the mighty villain. But she struggled to devise a method that would lead her to Torrentino. What she needed was a plan that would direct her straight to Torrentino's den. One day, Kodak stepped out to procure ammo for her big mission. As she walked through the deserted streets of CryptoPer, she felt that she was constantly being followed. She became alert and promptly flipped and grabbed the person by the collar.
What do you want?
I can help you get what you want.
Kodak pushes the man away and continues to walk.
I know what you're looking for, Kodak.
Kodak was baffled, wondering how a random stranger on the street knew her name.
I've been following you, and I know what you want. My goal is the same as yours. Torrentino's end.
Who are you? And what did Torrentino do to you?
My name is Pop. Torrentino oppressed and maligned my mother and I, so I want to set things straight. I've known him closely, and only I can help you reach him. Since we have the same mission, why don't we join hands?
Kodak accepted Pop as her mentor. Pop informed Kodak about the secret underway that led directly to Torrentino's death. He also revealed to her that it was Torrentino's monocle that was the key to unlock CryptoPer's internet.
Torrentino is the super boss, and ClearCache is the mini boss. In order to weaken Torrentino, we first need to eliminate ClearCache.
And how do we go about that?
Let me take care of ClearCache. He and I have some unfinished business.
The next night, Kodak and Pop reached the gates of Torrentino's den. They sneaked in and attacked the guards. Clear Cash spotted the commotion and charged towards Pop. At that very moment, Pop pulled out a dagger from his walking stick and stabbed Clear Cash to death. Pop was injured due to the combat. Seeing this, Kodak ran towards him.
Don't worry about me, Kodak. You go ahead. You're on your own now. Take this and get Torrentino's head.
Kodak killed everyone on her way to reach Torrentino. Torrentino had been monitoring her activity from his control room and was awaiting her arrival. Kodak was tattered when she reached there.
Aha! So you finally made it here. Now that Clear Cash is no more, I'll have to kill you myself. Trust me, it will be your privilege. You've killed my entire crew. That's proof enough of your physical strength. But do you also have the mental acumen to beat me in an online game? If you defeat me, you can have whatever you want.
You and your schemes. This game is designed by you. You will obviously have an upper hand.
Look who's scared.
5 years. I waited 5 years to play a game online. Bring it on, Proxy.
How dare you, you brat! Nobody calls me by that name anymore!
Don't cry over spilt milk, Proxy.
You will suffer for your insolence. Who are you? And why did you do all of this?
I am Snap Insta and iStan's daughter, Kodak and Coder.
You look exactly like her.
You sucked the joy out of my life. You monster.
If your mother would have chosen me, you would have been my daughter.
Your daughter. You don't deserve the love of a family, Proxy Torrentino.
Where did you get that dagger? Ah! Ah!
And that is how internet democracy was restored in Cryptopur. Cryptopur flourished again. People went back to being on their devices 24/7. Codec became an overnight star. Everyone chanted her name in the streets of Cryptopur.
Oh, Codec. What have you done? You've opened a Pandora's box.